Hello and welcome back to Forge of Champions. We just had a pretty messy game from both MNM and Enclave. And the onus is really on them to kind of fix this up coming into game 2 of the series, because that wasn't what we expected coming out from MNM. And Enclave, you know, they played well, but there were, you know, there's one distinct mistake and a few other kind of little mistakes that cost them that game.
Yeah, I think it was a consistent thing where Rengus was really struggling in that matchup. And it's granted that playing against the Camille is going to be rough as a tank. But at the end of the day, he could have played things better. There were a couple of missed taunts when Only Angel was in the tower, cost him massively. But I feel like it was just a mistake, was making that final push bot lane, thinking that they can end there. The respawns were coming in. There were 3 members of MNM up. It was a really risky play. And then Kevo, who had a great game, picking up a ton of kills, made the massive mistake. Didn't use his stopwatch, didn't use his Zhonya's, didn't use his killer instinct or his flash. But honestly, the biggest praise I have to give is to Only Angel. He was absolutely MVP of that game. He had a massive performance in the Camille, not only in the side lane, but when he needed to join the team fights, like in that bot lane fight that was looking to end the game, he came up clutch. He found Kevo, killed him. So absolutely, he had a great performance. And I think out of everyone in this game, you can 100% praise him and say he was the driving force that got MNM across the line.
Well, I'm really excited going into picks and bans to see what will change. MNM now on this blue side, Enclave on the red.
This is pretty big because one of the strongest things for MNM was obviously that Camille. It was a counter pick. It was a last pick. No longer available for MNM on that blue side. They can't necessarily get that matchup. And I think that's really important because Rengus clearly struggled a lot when Only Angel was given the counter pick.
All right, well, the Syndra is going to be the first ban here from MNM. It's targeting away on Beely here. The Kiana banned away from the side of MNM as well. Enclave denying that. I really want to see, because we've seen Chibs play the Kiana once. It was really, really good, but it's constantly banned at the moment.
So far this is the same bans, which is really interesting because the sides are flipped.
Yeah.
And so things like Syndra and Pantheon, they're viable first picks, and yet MNM's banning them away, which shows that they really aren't as comfortable on them as they expect Enclave to be. On the side of Enclave, I understand the Kiana ban on red side. I understand them still wanting the targeted Vigor ban. Comes down to what MNM will want around that composition. Obviously, this should be different because they banned away Xayah last time. When they were on the red side. In this situation, they don't have to. Enclave, you know, last time they banned away Akali. Xayah is still open. I feel like that might be a must ban. Yumi's still an option, but, you know, Enclave weren't willing to pick it up. MNM weren't willing to pick it up. I expect the Xayah, but it could go either way.
All right, well, they actually ban away the Akali here. This does mean the Xayah Rakan is open to MNM if they want to first pick at least one of those.
So, under normal circumstances, a lot of people like going that Kai'Sa Nautilus lane. It's not as good as Xayah Rakan, but it's an answer to it. This isn't available, but Kate Morg is. If MNM first pick that Xayah, you could be in a position where you're confident to go the Kate Morg. The issue is, though, if you double lock it here, there are answers to it when you've only taken the Xayah. It's when they've committed to the Xayah Rakan, that's when Kate Morg is really devastating for you. So right now, Enclave, it comes down, what do they want to answer? Are they looking towards the area? Do they have some other options? Kevo has had an affinity playing some mages in the bot lane before. Or are they just going to look for other areas off the map? Priority on their solo laners.
All right, well, they're really running the clock down here. Going to take the Kai'Sa, so Kate Morg not going to be the answer here.
Not a big fan.
What do they want to go with? Do they have something else in mind? Maybe something like a fresh, something you can... Oh, the Leona is another thing we've been seeing kind of into the Rakan. He jumps in, you quickly land the stun on him and try and kill him during that CC.
I mean, even if it is, you don't pick it here. You pick Leona, third pick, if you're going to take it. But at the end of the day, I mean, I expect to see something like a jungler coming out here. The Lee Sin was really strong for Akabane. You can take that again. And then it goes over the side of MNM. So MNM, I expect to see, honestly, the Rakan taken here. I think it's a really strong combo, and Shogun is solid on that champion. On top of that, the Elise is available if you want to prioritize that. Or here's an interesting one. You could put a ton of pressure on by taking that LeBlanc for Chibs here. And then Enclave have to answer in this rotation. There's no other option.
Yeah.
And that means they can't take a support pick. So it's a trade-off. Do you answer the mid lane LeBlanc, or do you answer the bot lane Xayah Rakan? That is an option they could go towards. The alternative is they just take that jungler. Elise is open for Nalty. Olaf is an option he had in the last game. There's a variety.
All right, well, they're still... Both of these teams really kind of thinking about what they want to pick, running the clock down. Giving themselves some time to decide what they want to go for. Lots of options available to them. We'll have to see what MNM want to go for. I want to see LeBlanc again, because while he had that kind of big double kill, we didn't see what I wanted from LeBlanc on this champion. For Chibs on that champion. He is going to pick up the LeBlanc. Don't get baited by the Katarina.
I raised my eye, that was it.
And this is going to be... Is this the answer for Enclave? Do they just pick themselves a support? or do they pick themselves an answer for the LeBlanc?
This is a difficulty, is that the LeBlanc being here is you can't necessarily answer the Orianna right here and now, because if you do, you give Kevin Raisins a really rough bot lane. So you have to choose, which do you prioritize more? Is it going to be mid or bot? And the answer is they prioritize the bot lane more, which is kind of expected. That Thresh pick that you mentioned does come up, offers a bit of safety, but it's not nearly as aggressive as Leona. Leona Kai'Sa is actually something that can go toe-to-toe with Zyricon, because it's very finicky, but if you find the windows and you stun lock Shogun, you have a ton of burst for him. But Thresh is the safer one. You have the Lantern to get out of sticky situations. But that now means that MNM are going to be able to ban away mid laners for Beely to be safe on. Enclave, though, I expect will be banning away junglers. First one's Elise. Second one likely going to be that Olaf, but they may still throw a ban towards that Fiora, even though Only Angel doesn't have counter pick. You got to ask, what can Rengus do that's definitely going to answer the Fiora? But it's actually MNM who are more concerned about the counter pick, and I think it shows the power off that pick in the side lane. So Enclave, I expect the Olaf ban. MNM, you have one ban to throw away at the mid lane.
What do they want to take away? Last time it was the Lissandra was one of their bans as well.
I expect that.
I would like to see it. They banned the Lissandra Cassiopeia. See if Beely feels comfortable on the likes of the Cassiopeia. So it's kind of suit his
the
pool.
Orianna was fine. He held his own pretty significantly in the laning phase. There was that one point where he got pretty close to going down, but for the most part, he was confident. But I would throw it out to Lissandra, but it really comes down to what Chibs is feeling right now. And they're actually going to go for the Orianna, so this suggests to me that Enclave could just pick up Lissandra. They could also put Beely on the Cassiopeia, but I feel like that the Lissandra, it's the solid matchup, and obviously it's got huge roaming potential. So if you want to facilitate your bot lane, it does put you in a good position. But again, these moments come down to player preference. Comes down to what do you want to facilitate with this composition. I'm actually leaning in a completely different direction if they do lock this one in.
Looks like they're going for it. This is actually, when we brought that graphic up in the last game as well, we were talking about how Azir and Corki were like the two most played for Beely in the summer split of the UKLC. So going back for comfort, like you're saying, it's kind of player preference and can lean into this. He can still impact the map like he can on the Lissandra. Once he picks that package up, can move around the map. But now we look at the junglers getting picked up for MNM. They're going to get their hands onto the Gragas. This is obviously one of the options that was being left open for them. Good level 3 ganking potential, and Only Angel, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Yeah, but the difference here is last time we had the counter pick, you had that last pick. So here, I'm hoping Rengus has an answer to this. You know, things like Jax do pretty well into the Camille. As for the Gragas, I love it with the Rakan. I think one of the issues with Gragas is his engage well, his ultimate's so strong, but the setup is a bit tricky. You have to E, ult, flash. Without flash, it's harder to do. Rakan sets it up perfectly. Here's the engage. You just throw your cask on top. Easy knockback into you. It's great setup. And actually, Rengus going to go towards that Ornn, so not wanting to answer sort of power for power in the top lane, something that can go toe-to-toe. He's taking something that will scale monstrously well, but like that Shen, it is essentially a tank in the side lane up against a Camille. It can get rough later on. I will say, though, I think likely to hold it better.
You don't have the kind of nullification zone with the realm, but you obviously have the kind of innate sustain with the fact you can build items in lane. You can kind of step back the Bellows Breath. You have a lot of trading power as well as the Brittle does a lot of damage.
I mean, early you have more trading power. The important thing for me is that late you have more wave clear.
Yes.
You can very quickly just burn through a wave, which especially when you get that upgraded Infernal Mask and you have the Sunfire Cape, you can burn through it pretty quickly. But again, it's still a tank. Only Angel, I expect him to have a lot of fun in this lane. It'll be interesting to see if Rengus can hold his own a bit more in the early levels. But once again, MNM have tons of early power from their jungle down. It's not to say there isn't really any scaling there, because Xayah is going to be a monster more so than Lucian in the later stages. LeBlanc can still have an impact, especially now that Orianna and the Shen are off the table. Those were the issues. It wasn't just the Kai'Sa. It was the fact she had that protection in teamfights. That's no longer there. So I think this is a game where I'm going to be less harsh on MNM if they don't get off the early mid-game win conditions, because they definitely have a really strong mid to late. But the issue is they are going up against these hyper-scaling roster. Things like the Ornn giving out free items to the Kai'Sa and the Corki. If they go super late, it's going to be an issue, but I feel like they have much more of a window.
I'll have to see how this is going to kind of go out here for MNM, because last time they didn't really play that window very effectively, and it was punishing mistakes is what was able to kind of give them the opportunity to come back. Now we have Nolty on the Gragas, though. He's not on the Olaf. Obviously, Olaf is a very good invading, and he does have a strong early game, but Gragas bringing hard CC to lane, has a very fast clear on that red side early. Get your Predator, head into a lane, and look to set your lanes up for success and snowball through the plating, because that's something MNM didn't achieve last time. They didn't snowball through the plating. We're taken to the Summoner's Rift for Game 2 of this series. MNM, 1 win away from punching through into the next point of the tournament. Can they do it, or will Enclave be able to push this all the way to 3?
My big question has to be around this bot lane. Keva was great at picking up kills, but now you're playing against the Zyracon. A really solid matchup. And Yusu and Shogun, I want to see them step up here. I want to see them have a strong performance and show what we expected from them coming into the split and the 4G champions. Again, they've gone for the heal ignite. They're looking to sort of make their presence known in the bot lane.
I respect this. I like a good lane, but no, it's time to kill. I'm bored of teleport bot laners.
Enclave apparently aren't.
Well, most people aren't really in competitive. We've seen a lot of people running it. Because it has obvious effect. It allows you to rotate around the map faster, get back to lane if you have these trades.
I mean, if you all in and you don't get a kill, teleport's just infinitely better.
Yeah.
You know, if heal saves you, great. But even then, there's situations where you use your heal to save yourself, but you still have to recall. And then the enemy bot lane can get an advantage because they're back quicker. Is the issue, is that with teleport and the short death time is currently in the game, there's just often not a window. Would you see Nulty going for a Raptor start? I expect to see him do the full red side clear that's so typical of Predator junglers. You hit that level 3 pretty early on, and then you're able to recall and get the boots for access to Predator if you want. Akabane going for a similar red side clear, where he wants to get those 3 camps and be as strong as possible early. Both these junglers, a lot of power at level 3, a lot of ganking potential. And I feel like you're likely going to be looking around bot lane. Top lane is an option if either overextends, but realistically for me, mid lane isn't that gankable. Both of these mid laners pretty mobile, pretty hard to pin down. Already Chibs showing a lot of strengths of LeBlanc in this matchup and getting a bit of trouble to Beely.
Yeah, really putting some pressure into him there. Once he gets that sigil, those trades get infinitely harder. Beely does have himself the fleet footwork, so it does have additional sustain for himself for the moment. So only Angel and Rengar's taking some trades here in the top lane, but Kleptomancy once again on Only Angel means he's quite happy to take these trades. He wants that free gold.
I mean, that's the thing, is that even if you trade well, which Rengar's didn't necessarily there, you lose out because of the Kleptomancy. Nulty's at level 3 and opted not to recall. He's very low, and I guess he has the interpretation that maybe the map's being split from Akabane.
He also has the pushing bot lane.
That's a key thing, but he is low on HP. Akabane's backing off pretty significantly, and I think it's not just a pry on bot lane, pry on mid as well. Will mean Chibs being there.
Ooh,
a heavy concern for him.
With the fact that mid and bot are pushing so heavily in favor of MNM there,
Yeah,
means they're able to chunk Akabane out, force him away. But now Yusa needs to be a little bit careful. Shogun actually jumps in onto Kevo. They have the feathers to call back. The Ignite's already been used. Now Raisin's going to take a little bit of poke on the tail end, and MNM return to the lane in style, getting themselves some pressure in this bot lane.
This is what I wanted to see. This is what I want to see from MNM in the early levels, taking the priority from the lanes that they've drafted for it. Nulty using it effectively, getting something out of it. And he's managed to get the bot lane scuttle, and now Only Angel is setting him up to secure the top one. So this Lee Sin getting completely shut out of the jungle so far.
It's winning lanes here for MNM. This is a very different change of style from game 1. They're really here to play this time. They're using the pressure they're getting in lane, and rotating it to deny Akabane as much as possible while not losing anything in their lanes. That's the key thing here. The CS leads are the same. They've not lost anything for these roams and these rotations.
And I think it's an important thing to do because Akabane was a massive factor in that game 1. He was making a lot of proactive plays on the map, and he was a driving force in shutting down Yusa later in the game. So setting him behind, absolutely going to be an asset for MNM. Enclave, though, going to struggle pretty significantly here. Now, the advantage is that Akabane does have his Krugs respawn, so he's able to move over to those with a ton of XP, so he's not going to be in too bad of a situation. But Nulty definitely come out ahead in this early game.
Now we need to see what Nulty can do with that. He's had help from his lanes. It's time for him to help his lanes. Try and see if he can get them looking in a comfortable position. As Only Angel, once again, just trading into Rengus. Shield will be blocking some of the damage from the Bellows Breath there.
Okay, Nulty is really powerful right now. He's level 5. He's backed for his boots, so he has Predator. He's got that blue smite as well. The gank potential is huge. He's going to head to his Raptors. He may actually just wait for the level 6 point to make his first gank on the map, but when it does come, it's going to be so destructive. And I feel like you got to be leaning towards that bot lane. Kevo flashless is an easy setup.
Interrupting the charge there, and now Rengus has to be a little bit careful. Only Angel trying to get some damage off onto him with a corrupting potion, ticking away. Only Angel really looking strong once again in this top lane, and Rengus being a bit of a sore spot for Enclave. As Nolty now looks to head around towards this bot side of the map. Hasn't got level 6 yet, and will be spotted out on this control ward, but with the Predator, that's just enough to give over these plates to MNM's bot lane. Shogun and Yusa quite happy to pick this up.
What I want to see, make the pressure down bot. Yes, they don't get any kills there, but they get a free plate just from Nolty walking over and popping the Predator. And Akabe even has to move just to answer and show his face to deny more plays going down. And then really smart play around the map. And despite it being a no-kill game, they're 1,000 gold up because of the little advantages they're picking up in this situation.
A vast improvement from game 1 for MNM so far, but we did see them get a lead early in the last game. It was the inability to use that pressure they were getting for themselves. And that's what I want to see. Already using the pressure that they got jungle to apply it into the bot lane and get some plates for themselves. Top lane is on its own little island. Only Angel very happy for it to be on his own little island. And this time he's actually opted in for the Sheen as his first buy. So not that kind of sustained build we saw last time. He knows there is no Shroud kind of giving him time.
I mean, realistically, he's just winning the trades really hard. Like, into the Shen matchup, Rengus was holding his own, but here he's just completely getting obliterated in these trades. So why not opt for the more damage to sort of pressure the matchup even more so?
So even Nolty's actually hanging around on that bot side of the map once again. This time, I believe unspotted, but Enclave, they smell a rat and they're looking for a hook. Raisins is going to throw that down. The Void Seeker's on. The cask is already going to get used, and Nolty looks to jump away. The shield's going to be enough to keep him alive for the moment. As Shogun able to shield him up, heal him up. And Enclave, they look for the play onto Nolty, but it doesn't seem to get them anything in return. Nolty did have to cask, though.
Yeah, and he burns his flash. It was a good play to shut us down his pressure. But at the end of the day, MNM still get what they want. They got a plate there. It went onto Yusa. Operations a success.
Just rinse and repeat. Don't have flash this time to do so, though. Tony Angel's taking a trade here into Rengus. A lot of damage from that Sheen proc. Giving more and more gold over to Only Angel with that Kleptomancy. And I believe Yusa just used a Feather Storm. I believe that was to dodge a hook from Raisins.
Luckily, he was in that situation. And it's good for Enclave to sort of burn these cooldowns. You burn the cask, you burn the ultimate from the Kai'Sa. Sorry, the Xayah. And it just means that there's more windows. There's less windows, sorry, for MNM to go aggressive on. There's more opportunities for Enclave to defend when these cooldowns aren't available, and it negates the pressure to a degree. But still, they have the gold lead, about 1,500 ahead, and now Yusa able to recall with that BF sword and that Coalfields. And this is where things are a bit more troublesome for a Kai'Sa, because yes, we said she has cheaper item breakpoints, but if you are going towards that mana immune option, you really lack any stats going up against a Yusa who's got a ton of AD behind his abilities.
So Nolty might try and see if he can make something happen here towards the top side. No cask available, but the Nikes are ready to be used. Not going to pop that yet. Chibs goes on to Beely here. Actually throws out the chains. Just get himself a light trade off, but
It's been a very quiet mid lane is the main thing, which Beely is completely happy with. He has the Hex Drinker. He's in a pretty safe position not to get taken out. And he's just happy to farm up. Chibs not able to really apply pressure or critically move around the map as of yet. Angel's super aggressive here in the enemy jungle. This is really deep.
yeah, actually using that hook shot onto Akabane. The Dragon's Rage is available. Has that Hextech ultimatum. He's going to use it. Akabane holding fast for the moment. The Dragon's Rage, but in comes the call of the Forge God. Nolty trying to turn it around. He's low HP for the moment. Raisin's coming in. Chibs on that flank as well, but in comes Shogun. Hook lands onto one. It's going to be Nolty caught inside the box.
Oh, the
three-man knock-up by Rengus. Results in first blood, and Beely jumps over the wall. Chibs unable to chase for more. Only Angel trying to get that damage onto Akabane as he is burning low, and Shogun takes him down with the Ignite. Now Chibs chasing up towards the top side of the map, trying to get that damage down onto Beely, but he's unable to. It's a 1-for-1 in the jungle.
1-for-1 overall. You can see the power in MNM skirmishing because despite 4 people, or 3 people, but 3 members getting knocked up from that Ornn, they still managed to only make it a 1-for-1. Really hard to pin down and kill things like this Camille, like this LeBlanc. Enclave, definitely not a force to be trifled with.
Raisin's getting chunked out here by Yusuf and
Splash
Shogun
as well.
First Drake up is going to be that Mountain Drake as well, so hopefully we see some kind of early aggression here from MNM if they want to continue to play this plate game. That's 16% extra damage to these structures. It's going to be really nice for them to get those bonus plates. They've got about 3 minutes left before those start to wear off, and it looks like Nolte just looking towards the Rift Herald. He's going for a hard investment on these plates. See where he decides to use that. That's going to be the question for me.
It's the right priority. The Mountain Dragon's still going to be up in 3 minutes. The Herald, yes, it will be, but it won't be as much of a tool because those plates will be gone. You want to prioritize something that will get those plates quickly, especially when a lot of the pressure from Enclave is around this bot lane. You can put that Herald top, smash down that tower, and give a massive advantage over the side of Only Angel.
May look to use it mid as well, trying to alleviate some of the pressures. Only Angel going once again for a trade versus Rengus. Once he's got that Vampiric Scepter, that's when this is really, really rough. All that sustain to work with.
Triforce is just a massive spike in this matchup. This gives you so much burst potential, and obviously the true damage against the Ornn means even those extra stats you're able to pick up won't do too much. But now, Nolte has that Herald. 2 minutes left. And he could path towards bot and throw it down, but that tower is pretty low anyway. He could, as you said, go mid and just get some plates. I think there's a variety of options.
Looks like he's hanging around the mid lane for the moment.
I think mid would probably be the option I'd go for, just because you get the most plates for your buck, because bot lane likely to go down with some reasonable pressure anyway. Nolte hanging in the river right now. We're trying to find Beely.
Beely scouting out with a rocket, but we'll now spot Nolte on the ward. Nolte got a minute 30 left to use this Herald. If he wants to go for plates, he can still just use it for first turret blood if he wants. Seeing if he can try and start up this Drake as Akabane moving over in towards him. Shogun on that flank. Yusuf pushed the wave in, so MNM had priority going for the belly bop. Akabane has to ward hop over the wall. It's going to be that down, and now Chibs rotating over as well. MNM quite happy to just get a free mountain when they can.
A lot of time committed to that. And yes, it's a mountain. It is a good objective to get. But when you think about how much pressure MNM had, how low that tower is in the bot lane, does feel like a bit of a waste that they're going to have to use the Herald here to get that.
Well, like just using the Predator. Kevo going to get the Lantern away. They hold that Rift Herald. They've still got time to use it if they want to rotate mid fast, but that's going to be the turret going down in the top side. Now Only Angel taking a trade to Rengus. Call of the Forge God's going to be used. He's looking for the knock-up. Only Angel flashes away. Gets out scot-free.
Got to respect those Ornn-based damages, and yeah, they got the tower bot lane, they got the first tower blood, but for me, if you're not heralding when the plates are up, it's a waste. That is just how I feel about it, and they've missed the window in this regard. There's only 15 seconds left. They actually see Nolte running straight mid, but I don't think it's going to be in time.
Yeah, he's trying to get off in time. He's got 10 seconds to push this wave up. There's a minion wave pushing up as well, which will catch the Herald's attention.
Nope.
They're looking just to try and take this turret down. There's not going to be any bonus plating available to them.
And it's one of those situations where, yes, MNM is still in the lead, but you've traded pretty heavily to get that Mountain Dragon. But in the end, if they get the mid tower, it is a massive objective win, so I would still take it any day of the week. Less plates, less gold over the MNM, but taking down that structure is a massive bonus.
Let me get a second charge off. We'll chunk onto this mid lane tier 2. Akabane is able to steal away the chicken camp there with a smite. Make sure he's not going to lose that objective. Looks to land onto Shogun, but Shogun's able to sidestep that. Look at Akabane, though, looking for the kick, looking for that opening. Not going to be able to get himself anything here. Now, Only Angel in his top side. Only one with a tower still standing. And it looks like they're going to try and sort that out. That's going to be the Flash Belly Bob. That's going to be the caster setting packing, pinned inside the Hextech Ultimatum. Flash already used by Rengus. The Lantern has been thrown down to get him some safety out. Not taking a lot of tower shots, and Yusa now sitting in the bush with Shogun. The quickness has already been used. They get a lot of damage onto Kevo, and the feathers get pulled back. The Dragon's Rage sends Yusa packing away. He uses the heal for the movement speed buff. And now Hook goes a little bit wide on to Nolty, and Rengus is going to get sent packing, but Yusa on that flank. Look at Chibs, though, weaseling his way up through the jungle. Trying to find himself a pick. 3 turrets down for MNM, and this is so much better.
Yeah,
An incredible early game by them.
They're applying the early pressure.
Hold on. Well,
Chibs managed to kill Rengus. Unfortunately, didn't get to see that one, but either way, Hook comes in, but the tower's about to go down. They have to back away, and MNM really starting to take control of this early game. We saw a lot of mistakes there. Raisin's not being able to connect on these hooks pretty consistently. Rengus getting caught out, and then Kevo, once again, not using his summoners when it comes down to it. He could have flashed away from Shogun, found some more space, but instead gets charmed up, taken down.
We can have a little look at this fight once again. Starts with obviously this light trade onto Rengus, and then Yusa and Shogun just catching Kevo.
I mean, just look at the window. I'll call it. This is when Kevo should flash. He uses his E instead, and he gets caught out. If he flashed to that moment, they realistically could have actually had an opportunity to take that fight. But as soon as the charm connects, it's just doomed. And now that it's a 4v3 on this side of the map, there's no way that MNM aren't going to win this. They get the tower pretty easily. Akabane did actually kill Nolty off to the side. And Chibs dives under the tower to take away the Ornn. So a little bit of back and forth, but overall, MNM do come out massively ahead.
Yeah, if you're MNM, you're very happy with the state of the game right now. You got yourself 4K gold lead over Enclave. So Infernal Drake spawning up in a minute. All of these tier 1s are down. A tier 2 has also fallen in the meantime. And MNM can set up the vision, set up the control for the Infernal Drake, and look to rotate that into more towers and set up maybe for the Baron dance as early as possible. As a hook does land onto Nolty, but with Shogun and Yusa there, it's just way too risky. And now Raisins might take himself a little bit of damage here. Actually does get a fair amount thrown down. Goes golden to make sure he doesn't get caught out by the cask. Wow, that did a lot of damage.
Predator bonus on top of the cask, having a lot of charge time, does a lot of damage. Tim's now fishing.
Just going for a light trade. Look at Only Angel also sitting in the wings. Enclave being pincered by MNM. 17 minutes into this game, MNM are looking to assert their pressure and accelerate to a point where Enclave can't come back.
And this is what I wanted to see from MNM in game 1. And I'm glad to see it here. This is a much more dominant force coming out from them. They're playing the map better. They're respecting the objectives they want to look for. They're now moving down towards this Field Dragon set up for that. But it is a game late, and it came down to Only Angel sort of saving the day. But MNM definitely look far better here. Enclave, though, 5,000 gold down. Yes, they have scaling in terms of these massive hyper carries and the Ornn. You can't give up this much and expect to have an easy time to get to late game.
Enclave are looking for the fight here. That's going to be the call of the Forge God. On to Rengus. The quickness being used. Shogun flashes forward. Doesn't catch anyone out, but an instant deletion. The Dragon does get picked up by MNM on the return, though. Yusa still firing away. Full HP. Rengus very, very tanky. And Beely also got a lot of damage to work with as Chibs jumps over the wall. Rengus now trapped inside the pit with MNM, or who's trapped in with who? Akabane has a blast code. Chibs flashes forward. Looks for the chains, and Akabane now just clearing out the wards for the moment. MNM chasing for Enclave members, unable to connect for more. Take down 2, get themselves the Dragon, and they walk away happy.
And it was a pretty close one, honestly. Enclave looked like they're going to find the advantage in that team fight, but at the end of the day, they just weren't able to find the DPS. They weren't able to pin down targets for long enough for them to die. MNM got corralled into the pit, but they held their ground strong, and they are able to turn it around. They get the Infernal, and just by a narrow margin, they get the team fight win. But Nolty's 0-3, so, you know, go figure.
Hey man, Nolty, he might be 0-3, but he's got a CS lead.
Let's be clear, okay? 0-3-0.
For the team. He might be not getting assists, but he's still doing stuff for the team, man.
Yes, for the team. But the question is, for which team?
Have you ever heard of bounty boosting?
True.
That's what's going here.
Is that what Kevo's doing as well?
Yes.
But speaking of bounties, we do see some small bounties picking up on Chibs and Yusa, and both of these being unable to be taken down in any of these skirmishes. Chibs, a lot of mobility on this LeBlanc, but still finding avenues to apply pressure. And Yusa, we saw him go the Infinity Edge since we were built last game. Much more formidable on this Xayah. And he's ahead of the curve compared to Kevo, so he's super confident.
Chibs. Standing on a ward. I believe they know he's there. He's actually going for Beely. Instantly gets the chains off in time. He's going to ping back. Doesn't quite have the burst yet, but that is enough to send a message to Beely. And now Raisins over the wall looking for a hook. Lands it onto a minion. His use will be nice and safe.
Something I haven't been convinced by this game is Raisin's Thresh. It really just has been a bit lackluster with the hooks, so... I mean, that's one of the things, you pick it into the Zyra Khan. We said there were other picks like the Leona, which you could have been confident on, but right now, Enclave looking to engage.
Trying to catch them in the bounce house. Hook lands onto one. Kevo slides in. A lot of CC is going to be used, and now Yusa, he's the one caught out. Has to use that Feather Storm early. Pulls back the Feathers. So much damage put down, and Beely not really got too much more to work with here. Does have himself the ability to jump over that wall. But Yusa almost turned that fight there for MNM.
A ton of damage coming out, but overall, Enclave find a kill. But at what cost on the top side of the map? This tower is going to go down to Chibs. And Enclave are being pulled thin across the map. They move to defend bot. They don't even save the tower is the big thing, though. Yes, they've been summoner from Yusa and the ult.
Oh!
That was a lot of damage.
So Chibs...
You saw him consistently trying to do that last game. He finally gets the one shot on Akabane.
Akabane's less fed this time, so...
True, but it shows that with these constant windows last game, where Akabane was overstepping, get him chunked out, Chibs just didn't have the damage. Now Chibs does have the damage, Akabane is getting exposed a bit more on this Lee Sin, not taking the respectful path, not respecting lack of vision, and as a result, jungler down. MNM are just going to start up this Baron.
Shogun waiting over the wall, doesn't have that quickness or flash available. Lantern will spot him out, but over, only Angel and Chibs jump. Send Beely jumping away, has to use himself the Valkyrie to escape. Teleport's coming in, and Baron's already very, very low HP. Knockup's going to go a little bit wide. MNM get Baron, 22 minutes on the clock. Got themselves almost a 10,000 gold lead. It's 8k at the moment. And Enclave really in a rough position in game 2.
And this was the MNM we wanted to see. This is them playing well around the early game, using the momentum. It's not a bloodthirsty game. It's not like they're just chasing kills, but they're finding the pressure and they're translating that into gold advantages. It's really smart play. The picks have been strong. The vision control's been strong. I just don't know why this wasn't here in game 1, but I'm not going to stay on that for too long. MNM are playing well. Enclave really just not finding the momentum in this game, and it's going to be a struggle to come back, especially since Kevo isn't hyper-fed this time. 1 and 2. He is struggling.
Rengus has to slide away there. MNM going to get himself this blue buff. Give it over to Chibs. Just denying more from the jungle side of Enclave. But they have a Death Brush set up. Voidseeker try and spot some members out. And Chibs goes for the assassination onto Kevo. He has a lot of damage to work with. The Knight's already been used. And Chibs just pings back. Call of the Forge God's going to knock up one. That's going to be the Dragon's Race to send him packing. Akabane gets himself one. Now Chibs has to jump away from the knock-up. Cast will land onto Rengus, but there's a Lantern to safety. Baron buff still on multiple members. Only Angel pushing away on this top side. Wants to pick at the inhibitor. Bot lane inhibitor turret will be the focus, and Chibs goes for an assassination onto Beely. There's the 1-3 working in fruition here for MNM. They're going to take the inhibitor in the top lane, going to take it in the bot lane as well. Akabane gets chunked out again. And only one turret and one inhibitor remains before it's just the Nexus turrets for Enclave. 23 minutes on the clock. Enclave, they're playing like MNM are playing like Enclave should have in game 1.
MNM playing like MNM should have in game 1.
I'll give you that.
MNM are playing with the strong early pressure from minute 1, and Enclave, they went for a similar plan, which was, these guys aren't going to be able to end, we'll outscale them. Or at least they aren't going to be able to find the early advantages. And here, MNM proved them completely wrong. They're able to find these massive early advantages. And now, I mean, we talk about Drake RNG a lot. This is pretty solid Drake RNG so far. Double Infernal and that Mountain is a really strong position to be in. And
another Mountain spawning in 5 minutes.
I'm not even sure if we'll get to that point, because right now we have Chibs, 4-0. You look at the items, the Ludens, the Void Staff, the Oblivion Orb, the Pen Boots. So much magic penetration with those base damages. And then Yusa closing in on that, likely going to be the rapid fire cannon, that 3-item spike on the Zaya, and Enclave, they need so much more time. They need crit items on a Beely. They need 3 items on Kevo and then defensives. They need Rengus to level up so he can start giving out powerful items to his teammates. For now, just waiting, but they are looking for a pick.
Hook does that onto Chibs. They get the knock up, a lot of CC. Kevo just slides into those DMs and picks the kill up. The Killer Instinct, that's a shutdown, and Call of the Forge God's going to get used. Enclave, this Death Ball is not done, but they're looking for Shogun. Cask is going to get used, and only Angel's onto the flank. He's onto Akabane. Akabane has to flash away already. That's the quickness. That's a 3-man knockup by Shogun. That's sexy, but it's going around already for Enclave. It's a 2-for-2. Only Angel slides away. He's going to get picked up. Kevo is unlocked, and Yusa, he's just focusing the towers here. He just wants to get the objectives and close this game out. Mid lane inhibitor now being left open here. Health bar's a little bit low for Enclave. 2 members left of MNM, though, are still way too scary. And Rengis has just been run down by Nolty. Bellybop looking for that opening. Not going to quite get it yet. They got all of the inhibs down now here for the side of MNM. And they're looking to siege up and close this game out. Chips is alive in a second. Only Angel not alive for quite a while, though. Going to pick that one turret up. Have they overstayed their welcome, MNM? As Akabane's back alive, Kevo has the Killer Instinct not available to him. MNM happy taking those 2 turrets and that inhibitor, stepping away. 1 turret remains for Enclave in this game.
I mean, the initial play was great. The pick on the Chibs, stellar. But everything after that, really a massive mistake from Enclave. Overstaying, using the Ornalt onto Shogun. There was clearly split calls there, because someone was saying we should go, we have a numbers advantage. But then the rest of them were like, wait, but who are we going to hit? Because Nolty has an escape, Shogun has an escape. They end up going for Shogun, but it does nothing to him. And then you, without that CC tool, it gives Shogun away, and then I have to compliment him. It was a massive quickness to set up that knockup and just completely close out that team fight. Enclave do manage to hold on with super minions in all 3 lanes. It's going to be tricky.
Chips looks for a little bit of poke off there. Too many members means he can't quite get the chains and the full burst combo off, but MNM now grouped up as 5. Closing in, working these waves up. They don't need to worry about Baron. They've got all of the minions working for them and a half-health turret defending the Nexus of Enclave. Call of the Forge God comes out by Rengis, lands onto Nolty, followed up by a hook. But look at Chips on that flank. He goes for the assassination. Kevo's ignited, forces him to use the stopwatch, but it's 2 kills. Already picked up on the side of MNM. Make it free. Beely's the only one who remains. MNM just walk through Enclave in game 2. The Fountain won't finish off Shogun, won't finish off Chips. The Nexus is not going to be focused quite yet as Beely, they want the glory kills. They want the ace. MNM walking the minions in, and Beely just slowly watches as his base crumbles and his hopes of Forge of Champions crumble too. MNM 2-0 Enclave.
And that was a convincing MNM. That's the MNM we expected in game 1. That was we're going to focus on our early game. We're just going to snowball. We're going to use our advantage on the map to get gold, get pressure. It's what we want to see. And it did come out just a little bit late, but it gets them the 2-0 against Enclave. And Enclave, there were moments, especially in game 1, where they had a lot of strength, but overall they just didn't match up.
No, they didn't. And unfortunately, you know, MNM, obviously game 1 was a blip on the radar for them. They didn't let it shake them. They came back and went, right, we knew what we did wrong. Let's fix that. They fixed that in game 2. And now I'm excited to see how they kind of focus onto the rest of the tournament, because they're going to be taking on either Envision or they're going to be taking on Phelan, depending on who wins in our next game. And then that's another point for them to test themselves, because XL are out. This is MNM's shot to make finals. This is their shot to potentially challenge Fnatic Rising and actually win a tournament. One of the main competitors, one of the teams, that has been a massive roadblock for this team, are gone at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that MNM, in this current form, if they play like game 2, I think they're in a good position to challenge Fnatic Rising, but they still have to get there. There's still a lot of teams we will see next who's going to face them out of Envision or Phelan. Phelan obviously stepped up massively in the gauntlet and beat MNM last time they faced. Now, it is a different Phelan. Coaching staff has changed, the support has changed, which were pivotal members in that gauntlet run, but still. There's them, there's Envision with their new revamped roster, and I think that MNM, yes, they have a good win today. They have shown that they are at the level we expect. It's still a long road before they can even challenge Fnatic Rising.
Well, we will be having an interview coming up in a few seconds, but we're just getting ready to set up for that. So you have to look at our faces for a little bit longer while we just talk about that game. But I mean, I want to talk about like the repercussions of what this now means, though, because we saw some weaknesses from MNM. They need to make sure that they fix those going into whoever they play next week. No, it's not week. There's no week games next week. The week after. Because if they're even in slightly the form they were in game 1, then if they do make finals, Fnatic will punish them. There's no way they can beat Fnatic in that form.
Against some of the stronger teams, they will not get a game 1 win if they play like that. They would have lost that game. And I feel like Enclave let the sort of pressure, the anticipation of being so close to winning get to the head, and that's where they fell. Realistically, this very well could have been a 2-1 game, and in the end, it wasn't. So I think that's a massive thing for me, is that it could have been a sort of a 2-1 game, 2-1 series for either side, because of MNM. Although they won this game 2, if they lost that game 1, it could have been a very different story.
Yeah, I mean, I want to kind of highlight, you know, how they won game 1, because it wasn't clean. It was only Angel just slapping that game on his back on the Scissor Lady and just running it into the base of Enclave. Whenever Enclave tried to make a play happen, this man really stepped up in this game.
Absolutely, and I think he's been the driving force, because even when there was a game where MNM looked lost, and he was the difference maker. Him between Rengis, there was a pretty strong difference, and it felt like Rengis respected that, which is why he didn't want to take skill matchups. He just wanted to play tanks. But at the end of the day, you play a tank into someone who's going to play Klepto, Camille both games. You're just giving them a free way to get gold to scale up in the later stages.
I mean, it's only Angel's playstyle as well. This guy, you know, when he kind of debuted on the UKLC in his return to the UK scene, he was playing, I believe it was Aatrox for like his first 2 or 3 games, and he was hard styling on people. You know that this guy plays carry top laners. You know this is what his whole wheelhouse is, and you pick the tanks, you know he's going to take those free matchups. You know it's going to play into what MNM want for their top lane.
Yeah, and I like that their bot lane, although I definitely had some criticisms about them, Shogun stepped up massively in that game 2 on the Rakan. It's not that his thresh was bad in game 1. I gave a lot of criticism to the bot lane as a whole. More so it was on Yusa. But really, Yusa was better in game 2 significantly. Shogun was on point. His Rakan engages were really solid. There was a great quickness he had in that fight around the mid lane. He was a really solid performer for the team. So I'm happy to see that. I think there are still some issues, definitely, as you said, to be ironed out.
Yeah.
Which hopefully we'll see over the course of this tournament. For now, it's the MNM we expected.
I'm still shocked that, you know, we didn't really see the Yusa that we've been wanting since spring so far. Like, yes, he had a good performance there, but then he had Shogun with him. Shogun was playing very, very well. Yusa wasn't the star player, but in the same way, it's kind of nice to have, you know, Yusa not just be the only carry for the team. You look at Chibs, you look at Only Angel, you look at, I mean, Nolty, Shogun, that everybody is capable of stepping up and picking up, you know, the weight for the team. And it's not just the Yusa show, but we haven't had a Yusa show MNM game. The last time we had the AD carry for MNM pop off, it wasn't Yusa playing AD carry, it was Cogmore. I can't remember who was playing now, top of my head. The rolled AD carry. Monk, thank you. Monk will carry. Like, that was the last time we saw an AD carry, like, hard pop off for MNM, and we know Yusa's capable of it. When he joined the team, we said he was a more consistent version of Monk.
Especially when it's a very bot-focused meta, and I feel like they could play around that, they could set up. And it's not that they don't, it's just that Yusa, he keeps putting himself in these positions where he's over-aggressive. We saw that on the Lucian, where he's randomly in this position he just shouldn't be. And you're left there asking why. And then often his teammates, it was Nolty and Shogun who ended up dying to sort of save him, keep him alive, and it cost them massively.
Well, our MVP coming out of that game was the top laner himself, Only Angel, 7.33 KDA. This guy, Klepto Camille, man, it worked out real well for him.
Absolutely, well deserved. I was saying he was MVP after game 1, game 2. It was a more consistent performance from the whole team, but he still delivered again. He was strong in that side lane, but game 1 was just, he literally solo carried that matchup. It would have been a 2-1 to either MNM or Enclave if he hadn't come out in that game 1.
Yeah, the guy really, really stepped up to the plate. I'm hoping we see some more from Chibs as well, because I think Chibs also in game 1 was a big factor of how they pulled that game back. Yes, Only Angel was playing well, but in that 5 versus 3, Chibs was doing a lot of work and surviving everything they tried to throw. And they knew that Chibs was the main threat on this LeBlanc, and he found that double kill. He found those big openings for his team. And while we highlighted mid lane to be the lane to watch, there were some moments where we went, okay, Chibs is looking good here.
Yeah, and I think there was definitely moments like he was getting close to one-shot Akari and he was finding these windows, wasn't able to quite deliver. And then there was the moments in the second game when he had the sort of massive amount of damage available to him on LeBlanc. He was finding these avenues to get in. He was managing to blow up the jungler, find these picks. So it's not the best performance I've seen from Chibs, I'll say that, but it's definitely sort of some areas are light. And I'm excited to see this team sort of develop over the tournament.
Yeah, it's weird because it's kind of like we have a smaller amount of time to look into these teams and how they play, because it's only a few weeks tournament. It runs for the entirety of the month, but or even miss a week next week. So, I think it's only like 3 weeks of play. So there's really not that much time to actually follow these teams properly. So it's not like the UKLC where we get to see this rapid growth where everybody plays everyone. It is very much you get a few games and it's really time to strut your stuff before off-season starts.
But I will say they have this week off where they can sort of prepare. They can look at what the mistakes they had. They can work on that going into the next stage of the tournament.
Well, we have ourselves an interview with the MVP from that series. Only Angel, MNM's top laner. How are you doing, mate?
Hello, how are you? I'm good.
Good to hear. So how do you feel coming out of that game? Because, I mean, game one was really, really rough for you guys, and it really came down to a lot of the work that you set up on that Camille in the top lane.
Yeah, I think normally before a game, we have like a warm-up game, but today we didn't have one because of the time schedule problems, so I guess people were just not warmed up, and just...
But you win.
A little bit in bot lane. Yeah, I've been spamming a lot lately, so... I think my teammates will anyways.
Definitely looked on form and the confidence, because game one I was like, you have the counter pick, you're taking the Camille, it's a great matchup, but in game two you were still confident to take it blind. Was that just you feeling you were on fire, or was that you thinking Rengis couldn't answer you?
Honestly, I kind of hoped that he had something better than just a tank to pick against me, because I know he's like a bruiser, carry player, so... bit disappointed, but the only champion I'm really scared of, honestly, against Camille is Fiora, and we banned Fiora, so I wasn't too afraid.
So going into game two, obviously, it looked like the team had a more kind of clear, defined plan. Did you guys know, right, this is how we're going to be playing this? Game one was a blip. You just put that to the back and go, game two. So what was that? What was it like going into game two, knowing how close game one was?
Yeah, honestly, I was... had to take like a good 10-minute break, even though we're only allowed 5 minutes. But the coach basically just calmed us down. We're warmed up after the first game. He's like, it's just first game. We played fine macro, so we just need to stick to the basics, and yeah, we'll beat them if nothing goes too wrong again.
Yeah, which was great. And I've got to ask, so Nolty ended that game 1-4-0. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, he actually played really well. So there was this one gank he did top. I missed my empowered Q on Camille. I'm kind of boosted for doing that, but yeah, Nolty played really well. He kind of like got left to dry in a lot of the fights because we're like diving their backline and Nolty just gets hooked randomly, and then we're like, we can't help him, he just dies. But he played really well, honestly.
Well, it's nice to know you have some confidence in your teammates and you congratulate them when they get 1-4. I did also in the cast say that Nolty was playing pretty good.
No, he was good.
I will always take an opportunity to play Nolty. The score doesn't always reflect how the game went.
Yeah. Like I even memed like at the end I was like winning with 1-4-0 and he was just laughing.
Well, congratulations on the win there and good luck with the rest of Forge of Champions, and we'll speak to you hopefully soon, mate. So thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
And for you guys at home, we actually have another best of 3 series coming up, and that is going to be ourselves Phelan versus Envision. Now, Phelan coming off the back of just a roller coaster of a gauntlet where they took out MNM as well. So I'm really excited to get going into this series because this really has a lot coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hyped because I think it's a Phelan who've shown they were really strong in the gauntlet, but they've lost some of those moving pieces which worked so well together. They've lost Connor and Pad in the supporting staff, but they brought Ferndog in. They've changed the support. They've lost Wisdom. They have Jeppe. I'm confident that they're still going to look pretty good, but can Envision challenge them? I guess we'll have to see.
We'll have to see because we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back with game 2 of our series, series 2, game 1. I don't know what's happening. It's going to be Phelan versus Envision. Don't go anywhere. See you in a second.
try to hide.